I'm Debbie Stark, and I am a programmer here at Kirkwood Community College in our continuing ed department. And today with me is Heather Woody. Hi, Heather.
Hi. Hi.
Heather, you and I have known each other a very long time.
Yeah.
When you first started out in your career, and I have watched you become this amazing presenter in front of the classroom, and you are going to be doing a class for us called Your Best Self at Work.
Yeah.
And as I was going back and thinking about all of this, one of the things that comes when I hear from people coming out of your classrooms is that they feel better after they've spent time with you. And I just think that is the coolest thing. And you do that. And so your session is Best Self at Work.
Yeah.
And I think you bring your best self every single time you get up in front of the classroom. So we're gonna talk about that. And why do you think it's so easy for people to get caught up in their job and just kind of lose sight of being their best self or finding themselves in their work?
Yeah. Well, first I want to say thank you for having me, and I'm so honored. And thank you for all the compliments. You didn't tell me I was going to need a little tissue in that. But that is sincerely what you had shared about people saying how they feel when they come out of my sessions is literally the highest praise, my whole purpose for the work that I do. So thank you for sharing that. I think it's just because, I think we're also, as we say, kind of cliched, frenzied and we're devoted to so many things, and we are, we get a little bit of tunnel vision in what we're doing. I think it's hard. I do think it's just very hard to pull back and to think about what am I either allowing to happen to me, whether it be in work or in life, or what am I creating and I don't even recognize that perhaps it's just not working for me. And that can sweep people away, and we can while away years of our life into that sort of pattern of behavior or thought. So I think that most of it is just very passive as it happens to us. And I also think that for a person to be willing to say like, ooh, I think that's what's happening, I think that's really hard to say too. What do you do with that?
Exactly. And you brought up, it's like we get so caught up that we don't even recognize that it's happening to us.
Very much so.
There's that, like you're so far within the forest that you can't see the trees.
Yes, absolutely.
And so like what could somebody do? Like, and I don't want to have this as a spoiler.
No, it's great.
But like how do they start recognizing this pattern, and how do they recognize it within themselves?
Yeah.
I'm thinking probably others can really see it and can tell a lot earlier, but how do we see it?
Yeah, well, I would say, some of the things in the session that we talk about is if you start to recognize you have more days or Sundays where you're doing the cliche Sunday night head slap, or you're just not feeling vibrant, or your energy is adrift and you're just not feeling yourself. I think the recognition is that you can feel that energy shift in yourself. You just don't always know what to point to in that. And so I do think that's one part of it. You said something really, really key. Other people can start to see that. And it's hard for us to take feedback about that because it feels very personal when somebody's telling like, you don't just seem like yourself these days, or you're missing that little bit of pop in your work, or you're not as sharp as you are. We take that in, and that's very difficult for us here, but it's usually a truth we know deep down. And, I would also say something maybe an indicator is the kind of feedback that you're getting, perhaps from a leader or a peer, but you haven't digested it as something that you've got to pay attention to until all of a sudden you have to pay attention to it. I know for myself, whenever I've hit those moments of my career life, or maybe I'm just in a little bit of a dip, I sounds goofy as this sounds, like I just don't feel well. My head hurts. Everything aches. I'm sort of lethargic. I'm a little bit depressed. I want to go straight home and sit on my couch versus go straight home and go on with the next part of life. Right. So there's a lot of those indicators I think that we just bypass, and we put them under the heading of, well, everybody feels like this.
Yeah, we're just busy. We're just busy, and everybody's working really hard, and we'll get through this. Yeah. And I think you mentioned like it affects our body. Like it's not all emotional either. It is physical as well.
Yes.
And so trying to get that feedback, like really listen to your body, listen to others.
Yeah.
So when somebody is going through this kind of a class, what do you hope they take away? Like, do they have next steps?
Yes.
And things that, is there an action plan that they can really do?
Yes, both things. What I would say is, the very first thing, and this is a little bit of a spoiler alert, but and I think it's a good one for us to, as you're considering coming to this class, and hopefully that you will, it's sort of returning and reminding and returning a lot of decision making to yourself, and recognizing that you have far more power and or choices to make right under your own 2 feet. And that's not to sound, cheesy, like, oh, your attitude is your choice. It is, but there's a lot of things that affect that. Right. So we talk in the session about how to recognize that, how to literally take it from driving to work to your meeting, to how you engage with your peers, and all of those things that we've got to engage in day to day, and how to bring that back to yourself to ask the questions like, and we armor everyone with so many questions in this session about what makes sense at this time. How do I re-engage with myself and my work so that I am, as I say, time's a wasting. Yeah. Time's a wasting, and we better get on it. And so, and is this right for me now? Have I transitioned through a season of this career, or where I'm at in my life, where I'm kind of needing a little spark of something different? Maybe I don't know what that is. So one of the takeaways is questions, activity. I've got a lot of reflection built into it. I've got a ton of time spent analyzing what are your gifts, talents, and strengths, and how are you applying those on purpose? And what does that look like differently in the same job versus just going to your job and going, yep, here I am again. No, what does it look like with your strengths in tow on purpose? Yeah. So all of those very digestible, manageable, actionable things, and the mindsets that go with them. And what I tell every single class is I do promise you that if you will follow some of these things, like, your outcomes look different in the space you're in tomorrow. But then it's about how do you continue that over time. The takeaway for everyone in the class is a little packet that honors both sides of your life. It's sort of some gut check. It's the professional side and the personal side, because we just know those two are intertwined. So and much. They feed each other. So those are some things that are very, very action oriented. It's not just concepts and thinking. It's, we are going to action, because that's the only thing that moves anything anyway.
That is so good. There are as you're talking about all these little things, there are so many nuggets in here. Yeah. It's just, there's so much, because I can see, work-life balance. Yes. There's a little bit of emotional intelligence yes. in here. There is the one that I tend to struggle with is like, what are my strengths, and being yes. able to identify those. And it's one of those things where once you figure out what your strengths are and you start applying them, then it seems like it fills your cup.
It's huge.
And then you get more motivated, and
yes.
then there's more excitement, and it's just a huge snowball effect. It affects everything. It really does. Yes. So for those who are listening right now, and they're like, oh my gosh, she is talking directly to me. This is how I feel right now. What would you say to that person that's saying, yeah, this is me. This is me all day long? Yeah, well, I love this question. I would say a few things to you. I think number one is get off your own case about it. I think when people hit this moment, they think there's something wrong. They're doing something wrong, or they're bad, or, oh my gosh, I'm thinking about change. I probably shouldn't be thinking about change, like, ugh. And I'm like, absolutely not. That is what we're all supposed to be doing. And I tell people, I don't care what their role is in any capacity in life, it is important, imperative to examine how we're spending our time, how you're applying yourself, your gifts, your talents, how you're making your money, quite frankly. All of those things that's actually showing a lot of confidence. It's showing guts. And I'm a super proponent of all of that. I've watched hundreds of people step back and be very judgy about themselves when they find themselves in this place. And I don't think that's fair to yourself. You wouldn't do that to somebody else if they're in the same place. So don't do that to yourself. Be willing to at least come to the class and be curious about what is this for me and potentially on me, and how do I take some of these, could be one action, could be 100 actions out of this class,
that could dramatically improve the scenario you find yourself in, and you're doing it. I'm not doing it, you're doing it, which is also extremely powerful. And I think there's a lot of gain in that for yourself. You can do nothing with the class. You could just come and be a part of it and say, you know what, not at this time. That's perfectly okay as well. So no judgment at all. The reason that I created this class was because I found it troubling that so many of us have spent time, even me, saying things like, oh, I can't wait till the weekend. Okay, I love my weekends too. Or, ooh, after work, if I could just get through the day. Well, we're spending so much time at work. So that is what I would want you to be able to take away. To step back, appreciate yourself and your entire day. All of that rolls up to become your life. And we've got to caretake that with intention. So that's what I would say.
Very good. And I love, it's like, sometimes we're just in different seasons of our life.
Right.
And you said sometimes, there's the person that's going to be out there and they're going to go, yes, sign me up. Yeah. And somebody who's not. But as you were saying that, and you're like, maybe they don't take it away. But I think the twist to that is that person may hear those things and recognize it in someone else. Right. And they can make a difference in someone else's life.
I would agree, totally.
And I think that is a really cool thing. Yeah. So it may be an opportunity for you to help someone else.
Yeah.
Heather, this has been absolutely amazing. You cannot go wrong with the Heather class. She has a following. She's absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
Have been a dear friend for so long. I'd say the years, but I don't think anyone really needs to know.
It's a lot, and they're awesome.
And they are awesome. And you make my day whenever I see you. Please click in the link below to get onto the Bridge series. They're fabulous classes. Heather has a few of them, and we would love to see you at the Bridge.
Yeah.